Dear friends, my name is Operator Starsky and this is day 1013 of Russia's disastrous invasion of Ukraine. The terrorist Russian troops attacked civilian house in Ternopil, record Russian losses in November, Moscow losing the Syrian front and Ukraine's perspectives of joining European Union. This is the frontline focus. Let's roll. Another massive Russian drone attack was deflected tonight. 110 drones were launched at Ukraine. The air defense confirmed intercepting 52. 50 more were lost due to the electronic warfare, and 6 kamikazes safely returned home to Russia and Belarus. One of the drones unfortunately hit a civilian building in Ternopil, West Ukraine, that is considered relatively safe. As a result, a fire started. Also, one civilian man was killed by the terror Russian strike. At the front lines, 165 assaults were reported yesterday, with more than 5,000 artillery strikes and 1,600 cases of using strike drones. 33 Russian attacks were deflected near Pokrovsk, 48 in Kurakhova, and 24 around Vrimievka. Men on the ground in Kurakhova reported that the terror Russian troops were given order to take this town at any cost. Ukrainian defenders reported cases of Russians sending a single BTR with troops on board that would break into the city, disembark, and instantly die under Ukrainian fire. Such attacks are often supported by Russian FPV drones. Apparently, the terror Russian troops are used as a decoy to reveal the Ukrainian positions and hit them with the drones. Only Russians can do that. I think Russian widows would be extremely happy to learn about such brilliant Russian tactics. Particularly interesting case reported in Kursk on 30th of November, when Ukrainian HIMARS hit Russian command center, killing 12 and injuring 25 Russian terrorists. The data comes from the Russian monitoring channels. Reportedly, the Russians were hit during a parade formation when they were celebrating the first anniversary of the unit in the combat zone. Will they celebrate the second anniversary? I have no idea, but definitely not the same personnel. Generally, November became a record month for Russians in terms of lost men, vehicles, personnel, and pride. According to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in November, Russian invaders lost almost 46,000 terrorists, which makes it almost 3 full motorized divisions. At one point, Russians lost 2,030 men in a single day, which is the largest Russian loss since the 24th of November 2022. 307 tanks, that is almost 10 armored battalions, 899 armored vehicles like BTRs and BMPs, which is almost 4 motorized divisions, and 884 artillery systems, that's approximately 49 artillery divisions according to the Russian field manuals. Since majority of Russian casualties were caused by the Ukrainian FPV drones, you can find most of the footage online. Ukraine is extremely generous and transparent in terms of sharing this with the world. I think you agree on this one. In the meantime, Russia not only showed some impressive records in terms of losses, but also in terms of personal self-annihilation. 34-year-old Oleg Tsitsarev from the Russian town of Turtas, according to his obituary, signed contract with the terrorist Russian army in September 2024 and became good in Ukraine on 6th of September. How do you like that? Though it's not clear when exactly in September the contract was signed, but if we assume it was 1st of September, then it's pretty much a new record for Russians, 5 days between signing a contract and death. I think this can become a perfect recruitment slogan for the mighty, unstoppable Russian army. We will make your wife a widow in just 5 days. This is hilarious. Let me know what do you think about it. Since Russia currently throws all they have at Ukraine, it's not surprising that their Syrian front collapses. As of this morning, the Syrian freedom fighters who successfully liberated Aleppo already advanced south and engaged in first combat in Hama, Homs, and Suvaida. They even posted a video from the captured country house of Bashar Assad. The Russians in the Z communities were seen crying and calling Erdogan a backstabber, because who else is there to blame when your mighty, unstoppable Russian army and your PMC Wagner fail so bad? Of course, anybody but Putin is definitely not his fault, right? Americans, Zog, Ukraine, and of course Turkey. That's the countries to blame. And Turkey, by the way, shared this gorgeous video of removing the terrorist flag from the Syrian territory. Recently, the Iranian Revolutionary blah blah guard openly blamed Ukraine for supporting the Syrian freedom fighters after their troops had to withdraw. On their channel, they reported that they successfully hit a Syrian command center, killing Ukrainian officers. Funny question, if your strikes are so successful, then why do you retreat? And even a funnier one, in 2014, all Russian media were bragging that Ukraine is a lost cause, a country that doesn't exist, that will freeze and collapse without the caring Russian support. And only 10 years later, they cry that Ukraine occupies Kursk, assassinates Wagnerites in Sudan, and helps Syrian freedom fighters take Aleppo. Is because they will never admit that their mighty, unstoppable Russian army was defeated by rebels wearing flip-flops, while their extremely genius commander Putin throws Russian people in the meat assault because he doesn't know how to finish his own invasion of Ukraine. That, my friends, is literally the explanation why the regime of Bashar Assad is collapsing in Syria, the Russian forces retreat, and the Syrian freedom fighters keep advancing using the captured Russian vehicles. Yesterday, in the Ukrainian capital, President Zelensky met the new president of the European Council, Mr. Antonio Costa, who promised Ukraine fast resolution for its membership in the European Union. Also today, German Chancellor Scholz arrived to Kyiv, bringing good news about the military aid worth 650 million euro to be delivered to Ukraine before January next year. Looking at Mr. Scholz walking off the train with a silver suitcase, I can definitely tell he's German. It's like in Liam Krebs's videos. Kudos to the beautiful German people. Dear friends, please subscribe to stay informed about the most important updates and share this content to help Ukraine to be heard. Traditionally, we'll see you in the commentaries. I'm Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.